All right, we're going to talk about a bunch of different things, all wrapped up around basically the idea of following through with inspiration. Last video I did like this, sort of spiritual talk, Bengal fuel stuff, was kind of on specifically the differences between motivation and inspiration. And I'll talk about inspiration too mixed in with this, but it's also just about like, what does it look like to have an inspired idea and an inspired sort of path, and to stay on it and not get caught, you know, in weird shit. I got the sun on me right now, so I get this big shadow across my face probably. I've been sitting here and the sun didn't want to come out, and now the sun is out. Now I got abundant sunshine. All right, so inspiration is like an energy stream, and it's abundant, it's unlimited in supply. You know, it's the energy that you're getting up with to go about your day, and you're seeing the animals and they're making their travel to look for food for the day and whatever the hell they have to do. There's an energy stream that's flowing, that's being essentially delivered to you, given to your body in a sense. And specifically when we're talking about inspiration as opposed to just having energy and utilizing energy in a way where you're going to be depleted because you're going to burn yourself out, you know, trying to motivate, trying to do stuff. We're talking about inspiration as being an energy supply that you tap into that is self-replenishing, and where good ideas come from, the ones that when you get them you feel great and you know you're onto something and you have something that you can work with. Let's say, you know, you begin a project from the space of having what you think is a really inspired idea, either that it's original or just that it's very specific to you, that it just feels right and you're excited about it and you want to do it, and you know you got something really, really good. The tendency can be for people, when they get something like that, to talk about it with other people, and then you get people who are naysayers. Nobody is going to feel your feelings for you, so they're not going to effectively interrupt your own source of your ability to be tapped into that stream and keep receiving the inspired next step. But people can influence you to second guess yourself when you're in the middle of explaining something. Say you have an idea and it's not fully formed and you're not yet confident in it, and you discuss it with somebody. They might start expressing what they would do in that situation or what they might think about it. And then you'll think to yourself, I didn't think of that, so maybe I didn't know what I was doing when I got that idea. And then you start doubting the idea and you start killing it. So that's not following through with inspiration. Because if you really want to follow through with inspiration, you really have to kind of not give a flying fuck what anybody is saying about it or may think about it that you suspect they may think about it. I say this because I know so many different artists over the years, and even now, that I talk to, and they do sometimes come around to, you know, talking about something that they're working on, the new idea that they've got, and they're so excited about it. And then like a month later you talk to them and they're not doing it. They gave up on it. And you ask, you know, you try to inquire, like, why? Like, what? You were so fucking excited about that. That was the thing you were gonna, like, I was excited for you. I knew you were onto it. Like, it doesn't get more, you know what I mean? Like, that's what you want. You want to have the idea and you want to feel really, really excited about it. So nothing should stand in your way. But then you find out that, well, they talked to this coworker, and that coworker knows some guy, and some guy knows some stuff, and he said that somebody tried to do that and it didn't work. And it's like, are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? You're listening to somebody else's opinion or somebody else's experiences. This is you. You got the call. You got the call from the universe to go and do that. Those things can't apply to you. You can't let those things or anybody else's doubts interfere with what it is that you've got going on in terms of How you feel about it is all that matters. So if you're excited about it, then it's exciting and you need to stay on that track. And following through with inspiration is like, another way that it gets messed up is some people will have an idea, and then as soon as they try to translate in their mind, well, I have this great idea, I'm going to write this book, whatever it is, I'm going to make this film, I'm going to make this album, but I don't have any idea whatsoever how it's going to be received by other people, and I don't know if I'm going to be able to make money off of it, and I'm not so sure that even people will like it, so then if I do it, then I won't be popular, I'm only going to be, revered in some way. All these weird things that people do, with the way that they perceive reality, with all of societal influence on them. There can be a lot of like mental chatter that can stomp on just being excited that you have something to work with that's an idea, and work on it until it's done. People will often, before they even start working on it, have found ways to kill it because, well, I'm not going to be able to make any money off this. But if you're able to receive the idea that is so original and so awesome and that you're so excited about it and you have to do it, you can also, in the same exact way, be in the mode, in the vibration of being able to receive the idea by which you're going to make money off of it, or have it be something that people will appreciate, or whatever it is that you're after. Those things are just as much things that you can get on an inspired path about as anything else. And if you don't have some skill, because people will say, well, like, I don't have business, knowledge, I only have the creative stuff. So I'm good when I do the creative stuff, but when I try to do the other stuff, I'm not going to be able to do it because I don't have any clue what I'm doing with that stuff. Well, you were able to get the inspired idea. So if it's a person that you're going to have to connect with, some partner, some business guy who's going to know that stuff, you will be able to receive the inspired impulse of go here, be here at the right place, right time, and you'll hook up with that person, and then you'll be working on it, and you will be able to do it. So you have to kind of believe, you have to know within yourself that those things are possible. You wouldn't have gotten the idea if there wasn't a means by which you could create it. That's how the universe works. It doesn't give people ideas and then laugh in their face and say, ha ha ha, you'll never be able to do this, dummy. That's what people do themselves. That's what people do when they listen to other people who are full of doubt, who don't know what they're talking about, who will stomp on what it is that they're trying to do, maybe because they're jealous. There's all that kind of stuff going on. So don't talk about stuff when you're working on it in the beginning until you're really confident about it. And don't talk about it too much anyway. That's just general advice, because you don't want the energy to go into blab. You want the energy to go into the thing. Not saying that you're going to lack energy and that you're not going to have, but talk about it when it's done. Talk about it when you have it. Wait until it's fully formed in a physical thing. But on this idea of this abundance, so and what it is to be on this inspired path, people will say things like that you give, or you get what you give, and you have to give something if you want to get it back, and gratitude is the key. And sometimes there's a lot of misinterpretation of that and really crappy explanation of what that actually means, because it can be construed as you have to give, and that's the same thing as push, which is motivation, not being inspired, which feels really good when you're inspired, and things kind of feel easy, like they're falling into place when you're inspired, not pushing and hammering things. Yes, there's effort in the work of the thing that you're working on, and there may be skill required. It's not like you're it's just gonna magically form on its own, but that process is gonna feel good. And in some cases, especially with art, it almost feels like you're just kind of being used as a channel for an idea that was a larger you idea that now your body is sort of executing. And what I mean by larger you idea is the you that is tapped into this stream, the vibrational part of you only. People will call that their soul, maybe, or spirit, or whatever word that they're going to use. Their non-physical, their higher self, their inner being, their true self. It doesn't matter what you're calling it, but that's on a frequency. That's a consciousness on a frequency. And that consciousness is streamed down into and focused into this body here. And this body can execute tasks that are you effectively being in on doing the thing that the larger you is wanting to do, which is informed by the you that's down here. So we'll break that down, because that sounds incredibly stupid and doesn't sound like it makes any sense at all framing it that way. But basically, this stream, this energy that is flowing through everything, that is providing the energy of the entire planet, and everybody getting up and doing what they're doing, being physically conscious, it's on a frequency of abundance. When humans are on that frequency, when we vibrate, when our mood is light and happy and we feel good, we're in harmony with that abundance, or that inspiration, or that stream, whatever you want to call it. Because I'm basically, at this point, I'm calling inspiration effectively what somebody else might call God, or effectively what somebody else might call anything that they believe is a source. So inspiration is like the energy that is coming from that source. And when we pick up on it, we get great ideas, and we get all the methods of what we need to be able to provide for ourselves. And when we have our wants and desires in life, we get the means to get those things. We get the idea to go to this place, and then you meet this person, whether it's matching up with a relationship, or whether it's matching up with a career, or matching up whatever it is. So inspiration is kind of like energy in the form of creative, conscious interaction, communication with you. And there's the you here that's physical, that's finite, that's kind of like a thumb drive collecting data. And there's the non-physical you, which is kind of like the main PC hard drive, mother drive, with all the experience in the broader view of everything that's happened here that you're not consciously going to keep in your mental space on a day-to-day. Your brain is only going to transmit the signal of the larger consciousness in moment to moment, just like I am right now. I didn't memorize what I was going to say. I didn't write it down. I didn't plan it. I came knowing that I'll be able to translate, that it'll stream to me and flow through me in a conscious way, that I'm going to pick it up and translate it, spit it out, articulate it. I'm good at articulating it. But if you have an inspired idea, then you're getting an idea which is for your benefit, you here physically, with greater knowledge from broader perspective, from your true self, if you want to say, in a non-physical kind of bird's eye view of what's going on with you, has all the information, has all the data of the situation. So it can see further down the road, so it can tell you, go this way instead of go that way. Now, when you're in the doubt and somebody tells you some shit and says, reasons why you can't do the thing that you want to do, the inspired idea that you have is crap, then you're going to feel a split where universe of absolute abundance, inspired idea, the stream, the wellness, the awesome, got, looking out for you, completely has your back energy is going this way. Doubt is going that way. When you have a separation or a split or a contradiction or whatever you want to call this, in those two, physical is going this way because you're looking at it in the wrong way, you're doubting it, you're listening to what other people are saying, and people don't know what they're talking about, and they're telling you some crap, and they're telling you all the reasons why you can't do the thing you want to do. And then over here, the source is saying, we got this, it feels light, it feels easy, it feels fun, It's something to appreciate. That's the gratitude thing. I'll talk about that more too. It's going in this direction. It's on this frequency. Abundance is located over here on this frequency. You've identified something that you're trying to do, that you want to do with an inspired idea that you want to execute. That's going to feel a way because you have emotions here as a physical being. And that's what emotions mean. They're harmony with it or not harmony with it. When it's not harmony with it, it sucks. It feels bad. There's the two things are working together, or the two things are constricted. When the two things are constricted, it sucks. It feels painful. It can lead to you being depressed and miserable, and everything sucks. And that's why it can be confusing when people say things like give in order to get, because then it sounds like, well, I have been giving and I have been trying and I am, open and giving and I'm doing everything that I can and I'm not receiving that back. And then you get to a place where you can almost feel resentful for the idea that someone is even suggesting that you should be grateful for things or that you should be giving, because then it seems like, well, I already have been doing that and I give too much of myself. That's where those phrases are wrong. They don't, the people sometimes don't explain what they really mean, or they don't know. To give something, if they say give love to get love back, it doesn't mean give love as in go out there and start telling a bunch of people that you love them and you might not even mean it and you don't know what you're saying. Give as in offer love as your mood or your vibration so that you feel it. Because when you feel that, you're going this way. You're on that frequency with it. And when you're on that frequency with it, you're giving and you're receiving. You're getting both. You will receive the inspired ideas and you'll receive everything necessary to inevitably culminate into the full physical manifestation of the thing that you're wanting to create. Create a relationship, create a job, create a book, whatever it is. That's what giving is. It's what you give your attention to. So when people say gratitude is the key, it doesn't mean just go around and say things and say thank you to everybody all the time, and maybe you mean it, maybe you don't. Words are useless. How you feel will indicate whether or not you're on that frequency or not, because that's how it works. That's how we know what frequency we're on, is how we feel. If somebody's depressed, they're not on the frequency of abundance. Abundance feels good. Abundance feels light and easy. It doesn't feel difficult. When you get there, do you think you're going to feel scarcity? You can't, because it wouldn't be abundant. It doesn't feel like struggle because you have the thing. So when you're talking about this gratitude thing and this give thing, gratitude is a frequency, or appreciation, or love. Those are all the same basically when it comes to how they feel. So if you're choosing something to look at to love, you're gonna feel love. So you start feeling love, now you're on the frequency to receive love. Because the universe works in a way that it's your signal is what you put out, your signal is what you get back. A lot of people will argue with that and they'll say, well, I wouldn't be, obviously like, that's not what I'm currently doing. I don't think that I'm doing that. I don't think I deserve the reality that I'm living. But if you check the balance, so to speak, of what you're thinking and feeling, because the two go hand in hand, then you're gonna know whether that's true or not. When you're feeling really, really good, you're in a space where your thoughts are good. And the two sort of, it's like you're up here and happy, good thoughts are up here in this frequency. And so that's all you really have access to. You're not hating yourself if you're in a vibration of love. The two things are totally different frequencies. The hating yourself thing is down here, the loving yourself thing is up here. So the loving thoughts are up here and the hating thoughts are down here. So it's, one of two ways. You can choose to focus on things and you can incrementally raise your vibration by saying, hey, it's going to be okay, and don't listen to that guy, and soothe yourself. And I know that when I get an idea, I've had this experience before, that when I get good ideas, it's for a reason, and so I know I need to follow through with this. And I'm lucky that I'm blessed that I got this inspired idea. So all I have to do is just, wait for the next thing to come and put myself in as good of a place of feeling good so that I will be in the receiving of that. So, I get this wind is kind of hitting me and it's kind of hitting my eye. So you have these different frequencies. And you have this loving frequency. So when people are saying this gratitude is the key and you have to be thankful and you have to give love and all that stuff, a lot of times they're just saying you got to do that, like just listen and just do it. And they're not saying why. Why would that have any effect on anything? And it's because the why is because abundance and the inspired ideas, which are good, which are gonna take you to the thing that you want always, they're on a frequency, and the frequency, you'll know that you're on it by the way that you feel. And basically you can kind of induce a frequency within yourself, a mood within yourself of the highest, of the abundance, of the love. You can kind of induce that by being grateful. You can kind of make a list of all the things that you really love and are grateful for, and it might tickle you in a way that'll actually raise your frequency or raise your vibration. That's when people say, raise your vibration. That's what they're talking about. I'm making this video largely because I talk to people about this, and a lot of people have so many conflicting versions of what they've heard from different people explain this stuff who are poor at explaining it, that it actually annoys the crap out of me, because it's like, we almost need new words for all this stuff and new phrases because they've been mutilated, and then people can just make fun of them and dismiss them rather than actually see if you know what they mean, not just the catchphrase, but what does it actually, people say, oh, just go ahead, just raise your vibrational frequency. You don't even know what you're talking about. You have to know what that means. And what that means is your mood is elevated. You are light. When you feel, and I'm talking physically, I'm not saying I'm not saying something to do with mentally what you're saying in your head. Because you could say happy things all day long and you could think you're being nice to people all day long, but if internally you resent them and internally you feel some shame or guilt about yourself, or you're miserable, or you hate something, then you're not feeling that. And why would you want to feel that? Is because when you feel that here physically, that indicates, that's the verification to let you know that your frequency, as in your energy here, like pretend you got a skeleton made of energy in you. The energy skeleton is in perfect harmony with the fucking universe, the abundant, beautiful universe that'll give you all the shit that you want and that'll give you the inspired ideas that you're looking for. So that's how you know you're on the proper good frequency, is that you feel light and easy and fun and happy, a joyful state, an inner peace. You have good ideas, you have good timing, you speak well, you articulate well, you feel brilliant, you feel like you're on top of your shit, basically. It's an awesome feeling. And plenty of people could dismiss all the seeming spiritual stuff that I'm talking about here, and they'd still know what I'm talking about when I'm talking about that type of a feeling. It's the guy on the court who's playing basketball and he's playing the shit out of it and he's in the zone. And it's like he can't miss a shot, and anything he does, it's like, how did he get there from there? And how did he even shoot from that spot on the court and make that shot? It's like magic. And that sounds stupid if you're somebody who doesn't subscribe to certain kind of spiritual stuff, but I'm telling you, if we wanted to, we could take anybody's lingo, we could take anybody's, parlance of their field, and we could find the right words, and people talk about it with baseball. They'll say, the baseball gods weren't with them that day, that's why they sucked. They'll talk about it with actors. We'll talk about, you know, the muse is the movie muse was with them when they made that movie, and they could feel it, and they knew they were on to something, and they knew they were making, and that day they felt it. What is it that they're feeling? It's the inspired wave. It's the frequency. It's the wavelength. Like surfing, it's when you are surfing. Because there's the preparation, there's the waiting for the wave, there's the you ready to go, there's the you in your gear with your board, you know, and you got your stick, and you're on the sand and you're ready, but it's the wave, and then it's you surfing it. That's where the magic happens. And let's just say the wave that you're surfing on, that's inspiration. And when you listen to people who have a lot of doubt and they start to influence you to kill your idea before you've been able to fully form it, you wiped out. You just ate shit, you know, because you weren't paying attention to the wave. You can't listen to other people. It's you and the wave. That's it. And it's like that with everything. It's like that with everything. If it's a relationship, it's more about you with your own wave than it is tending to and accommodating and trying and attempting and manipulating and let's make this and let's put this way and let's make this happen that way because I want this. There's a wave that you're on. And you'll notice when you're in a good feeling vibration in that sense, on the wave, on the path of inspiration, you'll meet other people who are also there. You'll interact with them because that's how the whole frequency thing works. Just like how you're up here and you got loving thoughts because you're in a loving vibration. Well, now you're around loving people. And now you're around situations where you have more to appreciate and more to be grateful for. If you are grateful, you have more to be grateful for because more keeps coming. Where's it coming from? It's coming from that ocean of abundance that is where the stream of inspiration is flowing from. You could call that source, call that God. Really couldn't care less what you call it. We're talking the same thing. I'm sure somebody, you know, can glean something out of what I'm saying to try to trip it up in some way and say that it's religious or it's not religious enough for what they're thinking and this is therefore blah, 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 blah. But fundamentally, I'm just saying energy in place of another word that you might use that would effectively mean the same thing. There is a source. These things are discoverable. This is not like an original thing coming from me. These things are discoverable, and I'm here, and I get myself into my highest frequency, and I can't even tell you the need. The impulse was so strong that I was practically tripping over myself to get here. I wanted to come to this spot because I thought it'd be cool to be outside. But the impulse, some kind of go-kart or something like that, the impulse to get here and to talk was so strong. Yeah. Four-wheelers. I don't think it was an inspired idea, Joe. You got here and there's kids on four-wheelers coming. It screwed up your video. But the impulse to get, like, the words were coming out of me before I even could get the video camera turned on. And it's not just me. This is you know, broader me. This is what I know through totality of experience. And all the little angel friends, spirit friends, ghost friends, fairy friends, whatever you want to call them, are joining in and offering and keeping the stream flowing so that I can continue to talk about it, so I can offer something here. But this is as much or more for me than it is for somebody else to watch this. But I do know that there are some people who are artists who I have these kind of conversations with them, and I want to get this across in a way because it's pretty pervasive, you know. It's unfortunate, but you know, there's a lot of stimuli in reality right now, and there's a lot of attention-grabbing stuff, and there's a lot of people with a lot of opinions, and there's a lot of going on the internet and getting sidetracked And so you could start from a place of thinking that you have something really good in front of you in terms of an idea of something that you want to do, and you can kind of talk yourself out of it in an afternoon. Just go on the computer and research some stuff, or go listen to what somebody else says about it, and it can completely throw you off. And so it's frustrating because I can't tell you how many people there are out there who have brilliant ideas, or even have completed brilliant projects like songs, whatever it is, and you're not going to hear them or see that work because they have effectively given into doubt, and they've listened to somebody else crap on their idea before they even saw it, just because the way it sounded when the person told them about it or whatever. And I think we need less of that in reality right now. We need more people to be really unapologetic and unafraid about expressing themselves through their art, specifically, especially, to just like let it come from you and not have the consideration of what other people are going to think about it and whether it's going to fail. I mean, frankly, that should be the first order of business, is to stop giving a shit what anybody else thinks. We're going to get better art. We'll continue to get better and better art if people stop caring what other people think and stop trying to cater to anything that you think is what someone would want, because that's going to change on a day-to-day, and you're not going to know, and you're going to get confused, and you're going to contradict the original idea that you had that was probably way better when it was something that you wanted to do, that came from you, that was inspired. Now you start taking into consideration too much of what other people are going to think and say, and you start knocking your own idea around and you shit on it. That's another form of not following through with inspiration. But mainly following through with inspiration, what I really mean is just staying with the mood that you were in when you got the idea that was so good feeling. So here it is, it's going this way. There's doubt, or there's looking at the current circumstances and saying I don't know how I'm going to really be able to fully do this. Whatever it is, minimize this. Turn away from this. Delude yourself for a little while. Play a little game with yourself for a little while of, I'm just going to feel good, and I'm just going to keep trusting that I got this idea for a reason, because I'm the one who can execute it. It wouldn't have been given to me if I wasn't able to. And just start trusting that and soothing yourself more in the direction of, okay, this is as much as I got today in terms of ideas, and I wrote this stuff down, and I've collected what I've got so far, and maybe tomorrow I'll be in this mood again and I'll get more stuff, which you will if you stay in that mood. You will get everything that you need to complete the thing that you mean to get if you stay in the frequency of where the inspiration is coming from, which feels good. You will get there. But it may mean you have to shut this down as much as possible. Put more attention over here. This won't be so active. Don't read the magazine. Don't watch TV. Don't go on the internet. Don't tell other people. Don't check the opinion. Don't compare and contrast don't think of yourself as competing. Don't talk about which other things are going to come after the thing is completed, like how am I going to make money off of blah, 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 blah. Don't do that stuff, because you're going to introduce doubt into the vibration, and now it's not pure and going this way, which is giving, receiving. Get the idea, be able to shoot the idea off, have the means to just the whole thing. The wave that you surf on. Keep surfing. Just keep surfing. Don't stop and consider what you look like surfing, and whether or not you're pissing somebody off or offending somebody, or whether it's appropriate that you surf, or who cares? This is over here. This is the chatter. These are the facts. This is what this guy did. This is what that guy did. This is why you can't do it. This is why it'll never work for you. This is why you should just give up. Get that shit out of the way. Ignore that. And it's impossible to ignore totally something, so make this more what you put your attention on. And what happens is, you do that, and this starts to become automatic. Your mood, your vibration starts to be more tethered to this. So you wake up feeling really, really good. You wake up with good ideas. You go to bed feeling really good and with good ideas. You're resonating with that frequency. You're in harmony with it. You're living and breathing that. It becomes automatic. A lot of people will say, like, well, I have to try really, really hard to think of a positive thought or to feel good because I have so many bad things going on. Well, it just takes some practice to get over here, from over here. You got to deactivate that. You got to not give so much to this, and you got to put more over here. Take some practice. If you feel depressed and you're miserable, then it's going to take some soothing and it's going to take some time to move the vibration. But it's not impossible. Nothing. That's the beauty of emotions, is that we can go all over the place with them as humans. We do the whole range of them. But it really counts what you're feeling now, and it really counts what is the mood that you establish in a more kind of chronic way, in a day-to-day, not just the fleeting, I felt really, really good just for a little while, or I felt like crap, but it was just for a little while. What is it that's the general frequency that you're on? What's the one that you wake up in? What's the one that's the most natural to you, the most automatic, the one that's available sort of seemingly without you having to think a thought or without you having to try to relax to get into it? And then if it's not high enough, then you want to do things to improve it in the sense of relaxation, or finding things that you can appreciate so that you can help to guide your thoughts with that appreciation to make your mood better, to get you going more in this direction. It's obnoxious because it oversimplifies things in the sense of saying, well, there's this wave and it just always wants me to do well. Yeah, that's the thing, yes. It's only people putting the obstacles in the way of that with fear and doubt, basically. And that's essentially, that's the genesis of me understanding this stuff and truly knowing it came in a spiritual experience that was so powerful. When I talked about, a couple videos ago, of these videos, where I was talking about the album Oriema with that. That was the thing, that the energy that was this train of love that paved over all of my fear and worry and doubt, effectively explained, in a kind of download into my head, was feeling good is what is natural. That's the natural state. Humans throw a bunch of crap in front of themselves with fear and worry and doubt, and it's like throwing a bunch of garbage on top of what would be a clean slate. And that clean slate is the good feeling, the bliss that's in the air, that's available for free, that's always there, and that's what that's the same place that the inspiration comes from, in abundance. That's the same place of the abundant vibration that keeps providing and that keeps everything perpetuating, so that we can't destroy this planet if we tried, because that offering of that stream of wellness is so much stronger than anything that we're going to do as individuals. But if we can go this way instead of going that way, then we can have a pretty shitty time. But we're not going to mess this up. The wave isn't going to, it's like when you go in the ocean and you go to surf, are you going to break the ocean by surfing in it? You get 10 people surfing in the ocean, are you going to break the wave? You're going to destroy it? Nobody's going to be able to surf anymore? The ocean's just going to stop because you screwed it up, because you went in there and you were in a bad mood. It's not going to happen. That you can always rely on. But the question is, basically, whether you're in harmony with it or not. Because that's the path, that's the mode, that's the mood that will get you to be able to follow through with the inspired idea that you have. Because sometimes it's not entirely fully formed. This is a plane going by now. Hi there, plane. sometimes you're not going to get every aspect. Like, let's say it's a movie idea or something. You might just get some of the idea at first, and then you're kind of waiting for the next piece and the next piece, and then it comes together and you have a script. So the follow through is the staying in the mode that you were in when you've got that first thing. And you'll know if you have had this before, and you can trace it back and you can say how you effectively felt, if you can recall how you felt when you get an idea, or recall how you feel when something happens and you were sure that it was going to happen and you're like, oh, I knew it. There's an exhilaration and there's a kind of powerful feeling with that. But if you were to trace it back and go back to the point where you first got the inkling that you did know it, it might be more subtle, but it also potentially could be just as powerful that it comes to you that you know something. But because it's not happening in front of you in the moment, that might be the thing that causes you to doubt it and say, well, I don't really know. But then it happens in reality, and you shout and you say, I knew it. So if you could trust more when you had that initial inkling that said, I think I know what's going to happen here, that you really do know. And so you can trust it. If that's happened before, then trace it back, and then now you start to have a relationship with this stream, and you start to have a relationship with the wave, a relationship with the ocean, effectively, where the source, the stream. Now you start to come to know what it feels like for you when you've got your little sign that says you're on the right path. Because it's often subtle. It's just nudges sometimes. It's not necessarily groundbreaking. It's not necessarily like what I had where something, effectively feels like it's like a train just rolled through your room to give you some information because you're wanting to know something about how things work in the universe. And then that leads you to another teacher and another teacher and another teacher and another book and another this, and then you start to put it all together and you go, okay, like that. But sometimes it's subtle. Or sometimes it's a person that you encounter and you hear them say something. Or it's this video. Something where you have some piece of it and there's a sense of knowing with the piece of it. It's like, like something's there. Trust that. Put more stock in that than you do in bullshit that people are telling you that is based on facts. Because when it comes to creation, there is no permanent, there is no done deal fact thing, because you can always create. So you can always create new conditions. You can always create something that doesn't exist. I mean, you can get in very crazy arguments and debates with people about creating things, and it can get really, really stuck in science and facts, and yet if you're somebody who's a creator, you've been through the process. Like if you're a songwriter, you've been through the process of where you had nothing for that song, and then you had the chorus, and then you started to put the pieces together, and then before you know it, you have the whole finished song that somebody else can listen to, and now that's a fact, and that's a thing. That's a tangible, physical thing now that people can chew on. But at one time, you had to nurture it and grow it. You had to treat it like it was a plant where you gotta water it, and you gotta take it through the process in order to bring it to where it's something that somebody else can have. So if the artist knows fully, more so than other people may have a better sense of the sort of idiocy of argument on the topic of things like what is the hard fact versus these spiritual kinds of conversations, or these conversations about energy. Because It's an inspired idea, which is just energy, it's just consciousness, just that wave. And now you have the notes of that song and you have the lyrics of that song, and now you're able to make it, because you don't make the things often without having some of this. Otherwise you're banging on things, and sometimes you make what just ends up being crap. You don't like the thing. And you should like what you're making, and you should feel good about it when you're in the process of it. It's a lot of times the way in which you know that you're supposed to be doing it. It's what you do. What you are supposed to be doing, or what your purpose is, other than just being a growth-seeking, joyful, awesome creator, should be that you do get to feel good doing it. You know, if you're the creator of the thing, you should be proud of it. You should be wanting to do it. You should be excited about it. So it's kind of like that, where, you know, you have to really not listen to what anybody else is saying, but you also have to ignore the simplifying of things in terms of, well, I can't use what this guy's telling me right now because this isn't something practical and hard that I can... Yes, it's actually very practical. It's putting into practical terms how you maneuver or harmonize with or relate to and work with energy in order to be able to fulfill the thing, to take it to its end. So there's going to be the this. You want to stay in this mood so that you can keep receiving. And if it's the thing and now you've completed it, and say you got the album finished, you got the book finished, you got the whatever it is finished, and now you're starting to consider how you would like to do something with it further than what you have already done. I think this might be rain. Interesting. I'm getting done with what I'm talking about anyway, but it's a very interesting little... It's like a little cloud that's just above me that's nowhere else. Such a strange day out here, man. Wow, that's so cool. I have my own cloud. I'm really kind of high up right now. Maybe I'll do a little camera work. I'm gonna be done in a minute. Maybe I'll do a little, just show you where I am if you can even see it. Because I'm kind of high. I'm in a mountainy... Anyway, this will take you to the next thing too. You're a creator. You're able to receive inspiration. You got the inspired idea. That skill of being able to get the juice that you need, it doesn't go away when you're done with the creating the thing that you artistically expressed. It's there with you for, say it's a painting, it's there with you for how are you going to get it to the gallery that you want to get it to, or to the dealer, or whatever it is. The inspiration is going to be there for that too. This is a big one, because I really talk to so many artists who really, really doubt themselves in terms of, I mean, it's just the contradictory argument that is going on within them is unbelievable. That it's like, basically what they seem to be saying is, I was put here on this earth as an artist who can create really good art, but since I don't know anything about how to get it out to people and how to make money off of it and how anybody will ever find it, I'm cursed with talent and this ability to create these great things that nobody will ever know about. And so what's the point of life? Not for me, there is no point. That's the end. It sucks. Everything sucks. Life sucks. Instead of saying, hey man, I'm somebody who can receive inspiration. So why wouldn't I be able to receive inspiration when it comes to all the other aspects related to this thing, including, who do I got to get this to? You got a book, you were trying to get it to a literary agent. This is still going, man. This shit's still going, baby. Don't turn it off. And how do you turn it off? You go, I don't know how to do that. I don't have any sense of how to do business stuff. This sucks. Well, don't do that. Don't do that. Do this as little as possible. Get tethered to this. Get anchored to this. Make this what you're about. Whether you do it by encouraging yourself with thoughts, self-soothing, relaxation, meditation to quiet this chatter, whatever it takes, fucking plane going by, say, shut up. Get this out of the equation as much as possible to reinforce the being anchored to this. Because if this channel is open and you're flowing with the inspiration, then you're not going to miss the cues of, if it's somebody that you have to meet, you'll meet them. Whatever it is. And this applies, take apart what I'm saying in terms of me talking about art and artists, and maybe this video is a little bit crafted directionally towards that. It would apply just the same if it was a relationship, if it was somebody that you wanted to go out with or whatever. And it would apply just the same if it was a job that you were looking for that was a more practical, less creative kind of a job. Everything's creative. Relationships are creative. You know what I mean. But it applies to everything because it's energy. That this is here and you want to be going with this. And when you're going with this, you're going to feel good. That's how you know you're going with this. You don't feel bad when you're going with the flow of abundance, the inspiration, the stream. So if you're feeling bad, it's because you're over here too much. You're listening to this nonsense too much. That's always the case. Because it's natural for you to go this way. You're supposed to. We don't have anybody coming down here hitting us over the head and telling us that we have to. Or something that locks us in to make us do this. And it's a good thing we don't, because if we didn't have the this and this, then there isn't the desire for more that keeps this thing going, that makes this experience eternal. It's always going to be this. There's always going to be go this way or go that way. But one feels good and one doesn't. So it does make a big difference if you really care how you feel, because if you really care how you feel, you're not going to read the thing that makes you feel like this. You're not going to listen to the person who talks to you and makes you feel like this. You're not going to bother with it. You're going to start tuning that stuff out. And then it's going to make it a lot easier to feel this way. You don't have a fight going on in your head every day of this guy's talking to you and you have to go, shut up, I'm going this way. You'll just start going this way. And things will start manifesting faster. Ideas will come faster. And I'm not saying that like speed is everything or ease is everything. Some people like to feel some traction and some difficulty, and they like to chew on things a little bit. But it shouldn't be that that's your whole life. It shouldn't be that you're sitting there and you can't do the thing that you want to do, or you're putting it off and you're saying that, you know, possibly you're just cursed and you're never going to be able to. That's nonsense. You can have all of it. It's all doable. But you got to be on the frequency of where that stuff is. Because it is. Vibrationally. Just like a thing exists in a dream, and you felt it and you touched it and you smelled it, you tasted it even in your dream. And the difference when it comes to making that thing a kind of a physical thing here, it's just a little further down the road. The larger thing that's up here that's me, and the me that's here, and me in harmony with this, there's not much difference then. This is not like I'm in hell here, or this is a prison planet, and then there's a heaven, and that's where everything is good. Here, it could be the same. But what it is about here that makes it different is that it's got a hand that smacks into a hand that makes a sound. It has physicality to it. It's got a flesh to it. It's the taking the thought to its furthest formation. It doesn't mean it's better than, and it doesn't mean that it's not vibrational. This is still energy. This thing is still energy too. It's just that it's got something with some that other people can observe and say, yeah, I recognize that thing, and we get to a consensus about what does a table look like, even though we all technically perceive it a little differently, but we have some consensus about, yeah, there's a table there. But it's still energy. Everything's energy. And all energy is restless, and it vibrates. And it can let you know physically where you're at by the way that you feel. And sometimes inspiration for people is a gut feeling. People call that instinct sometimes, even though they mean intuition. A calling. You're being called this way. Why are you being called this way? Because you wanted something. Some shit happened in your life and it made you want a particular thing, or you got a good idea and it made you want to go for it. And here's this. And where's this going? This is going to where that idea is done. Because it's done here. And now you have to go with it to see it become physical. It's really a little bit overly simple. But without explaining a lot of the why and getting into some of the detail, I think that it can be more confusing, because I think that too many people say similar kind of stuff, but they don't understand it deeply enough. They don't have it to where they can create, okay, watch this, listen to this. I think you'll have a better understanding of what I'm talking about, rather than the catchphrases that don't necessarily get you there. And that can be kind of annoying, because sometimes they really do sound like they mean differently than what they're supposed to mean. And then it just sounds like, do more hard work. And then it's like, well, what's the difference? If you start thinking like that, then what's the difference between a spiritual path and listening to a guy at the gym who just has this, like, you know, just get cracking attitude about everything, where everything is physical action? So give is your offering, your vibrational offering. Your vibrational offering, go this way. Go with the flow. Feel appreciation for things. Anything. Doesn't have to be about yourself or what your project is. You don't have to dwell upon your own awesome idea every day and rethink it over and over again in order to make it come to be. You could just appreciate your fucking contents of your refrigerator being nice right now, or how beautiful your cat is, or how amazing this rain is that I have this little cloud above me only out here right now. It wants to just deliver a tiny little sprinkling, which is not affecting the camera because there's trees here which have leaves on them still, even though they're coming down today. It's so pretty. So that's what I'm trying to say here, is don't mess up your own this. Go with this. Trust this. Try this and go and see and bring something to its fruition. Bring it to physical. Follow it all the way. And then you'll know, and then you'll be like me, and you'll say, I'm never listening to what anybody says who's a naysayer ever again. All right, that's good.